Coming up on Volusia Magazine, we head over to Oak Hill, get a look at the airport's newest fire trucks, and learn how the county prepares the annual budget. These stories and more next. Hello, and welcome to Volusia Magazine. I'm Tammy King. Volusia County has an abundance of trails, and there are hidden treasures around every corner. Let's get on our bikes and take a ride through nature on the East Central Regional Rail Trail.
Everyone, I'm Tracy.
And I'm Lisa.
And we are with Volusia County's Parks, Recreation, and Culture Division.
And I'm Trey Hanna with Volusia County Environmental Management and the Explore Volusia program. And today we're going to go on a bike ride from Beck Ranch all the way over to Gobbler's Lodge with some interesting stops in between.
So, let's go!
Volusia County has a world-class multi-use trail system. Trailheads and access points are plentiful, each offering users a unique opportunity and experience.
All right, so we're here at the Osteen Trailhead, which can be found on County Road 415. This is a great access point to get on the trails. There's plenty of parking here and there are bathrooms. Now, from this trailhead, if you wanted to head to the Spring to Spring Trail, you could leave here and about 5 miles, you'll hit Green Springs Park. And there are bathrooms there. It's a beautiful park, Springs, and then you can continue on to Gemini Springs, DeBerry Hall, and eventually up to Lake Beersford. Today, though, we're heading the opposite direction. We're gonna stay on the East Central Regional Rail Trail, and about 6 miles down, we're gonna stop at Gobbler's Lodge. Now you can keep going from there, and it'll connect to Maytown, all the way down to Titusville, or up to Edgewater.
The tree-lined portions, which made up a majority of the ride, offered a much-needed reprieve from the sun. The giant Tin Man spotted off this section of trail can only be described as unique. Why it's there and where it came from is anybody's guess.
As you're biking this wonderful rail-to-rail trail, you'll come across many different preserves in these areas, and these preserves are designed for all the animals in the area to really help preserve their habitat. The first one that you would come to is Hickory Bluff Preserve, which is right off Guys Road. It's about 135 acres and it's right on the St. Johns River. It has about 6 different habitats and a short 1.5 mile walk, and also has camping and other activities that you can do out there on the preserve. If you come down a little bit further to the east, you'll get to Wiregrass Prairie Preserve, which is north off of Pell Road. It's about 1,700 acres and has wonderful longleaf pine with wiregrass understory habitat in that area, which is great for some of your larger game. And then as you go a little bit further down, you have Deering Preserve, which is open sunrise to sunset, but by permit only. You would have to call the Parks and Rec office to get access to the property, but it has access right to Deep Creek Preserve. And Deep Creek Preserve is a creek that runs from Lake Ashby on the south side all the way out in the St. Johns, not too far from Lake Harney. So as you're biking through here, you're not too far at all from Gobbler's Lodge Road. So you can make this tiny trek right here to this area. So just as you're passing Deering Preserve, not too far from there is Gobbler's Lodge, which is kind of a halfway point between Osteen and off of Maytown Road. So if you need a quick stop for a restroom or a parking area to meet someone at, it's a great place to stop at.
All right, everyone. Well, we've made it to the end of our ride, which ended here at Gobbler's Lodge Trailhead. Now, just a few things about this trailhead. It's great for parking if you wanted to go from here all the way over to the East Coast or backtrack the way that we came, but there aren't a lot of amenities here. While there is a bike repair station, there's no water, and there is a portalette. So we do recommend make sure you wear sunscreen while you're out here. Make sure you bring lots of water with you, especially if you're heading towards the East Coast. There's not a lot of other stops along the way, and it's important to stay hydrated, especially in this Florida heat. And this part of Volusia County Trail is just one small segment of the vast amount of trails that are here in Volusia County. And we connect to 3 other major trails in the state of Florida, the Coast to Coast Trail, the St. Johns River to Sea Loop Trail, and the Heart of Florida. So if you really want to get out there and see what Florida has to offer, I highly recommend getting out on these trails. Riding, running, walking, there's nature, there's so many wonderful things out here. So get out and explore.
Weaving through different landscapes and highlighting many of its natural wonders, Volusia County's multi-use trail system offers a place to create memories, enjoy nature, get fit, have fun, and take a less traveled path throughout the county and state. So get out and explore. I'm David Hunt.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
We are Volusia County Beach Safety. We're here to serve Volusia County's 47 miles of unique coastline. You know, Volusia County beaches. Yeah, those beaches. But also these beaches. We have millions of visitors every year, and we work around the clock to keep our beaches safe and beautiful. And you can help.
Swim near a staff lifeguard tower.
Pick up your trash and fill holes. Identify, avoid, and escape rip currents.
Please leave the beach cleaner than you found it.
There we go. Look out for one another and keep an eye on kids, especially near the traffic lane and in the water.
Pets are allowed at our 2 pet-friendly beaches, Lighthouse Point Park and Smyrna Dunes Park.
If you see something, say something.
A clean and safe beach guarantees fun in the sun for everyone. Thank you for doing your part to keep Volusia County beaches beautiful. See you at the beach!
Make the most of your day at the beach. Download the Volusia County Beaches app today. Sign up for real-time notifications on vehicle ramp openings and closings. Find staffed lifeguard towers. Get updates on tides and beach conditions, plus off-beach parking and coastal parks info. Volusia County Beaches app is available for your smart devices at the App Store and Google Play.
Crews at Daytona Beach International Airport's fire station now have 2 new fire trucks to help them respond in the event of an emergency. Joanne Magley has all the details.
Daytona Beach International Airport's fire station is now equipped with 2 new Oshkosh fire engines. These replace 2 older trucks and allow for a faster response.
Daytona Beach International Airport has dozens of commercial flights arriving and landing each day, and there are hundreds of general aviation flights each day as well. That is why DAB is consistently ranked 3rd in the state for airport operations. Those are takeoffs and landings. Much of that is due to flight training from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University and other schools. With all that activity, crews need to be prepared in case of an emergency.
RF1 all units, we do have a confirmed airplane crash. We have heavy smoke showing.
Lieutenant Bill Whalen is with Volusia County Fire Rescue and leads the crew at the ARF station.
Over the years, FAA has done a lot of work and study on the response times if we were to have an incident at the airport. And what we shoot for is we need to get the firefighters in gear and the trucks on scene in less than 180 seconds.
The Aircraft Rescue and Firefighting Station, known as ARF, is a specialized unit of Volusia County Fire Services. The station is on airport property, and the crew is required to respond to any incident or accident on the runway within 3 minutes.
The ARF trucks are designed differently than a traditional firehouse station. For one thing, they carry a lot more water and product. This one carries 1,500 gallons of water, 250 gallons of AFFF foam, which is used to fight fuel fires, and it also has 500 pounds of a chemical called Purple K, which is an extinguishing powder.
Ed has our hose line for us. When it gets to the end, you can give it a good tug, and that would turn the system on.
As with any new equipment, crews were trained on the new trucks.
The other things that these do, aside from being very, very fast, is they can pump and roll. And what I mean by that is you can actually drive the truck and flow water out of one of the two turrets, either on the roof or on the bumper, while driving the truck.
There are many new features.
Right off the bat, they're faster. They're much quicker. We carry more product in them. We have other different features like our thermal imaging cameras and a camera around the entire truck for when we're maneuvering it in tight spaces. We have a huge light bar tower on the roof that can be deployed for nighttime operations. And just obviously it's like anything else. The trucks that these are replacing are over 15 years old. So with that 15 years comes better communications equipment, a truck that's just better built and put together better.
While aircraft crashes are rare, it is critical for rescue crews to have the right and best equipment in the event of an accident.
Anytime we have any type of an alert or an aircraft emergency, or even if the pilot feels that there could be an issue with the aircraft when he's landing, we'll take the trucks and we'll pull them out and go to what we call standby areas. So we can position the ARF trucks as close as we can to whatever runway that aircraft is landing on, just to really increase that time. Our goal is to, when that aircraft stops, that we're on scene seconds later.
And with the high level of flight activity, the crews are kept busy every day.
We are really busy out here with air traffic, and plus one of our fixed base operators also has a military contract, so we do get a lot of military aircraft that come in.
The crews also respond to other aviation incidents, such as fuel spills.
But our number one role with a fuel spill is to stop the fuel spill, mitigate it, and protect. So for a large fuel spill, we would come on the scene and we would cover the entire spill with that AFFF foam. And what that foam does, it actually floats on top of the fuel. It suppresses the vapors, so the vapors can't find an ignition source. And then we'd work in conjunction with the Volusia County Hazardous Materials team and a private contractor to come in and clean it up and finish mitigating it.
But the crew did recently help out a furry critter that lost its way.
We're not allowed pets, obviously, inside because it's a controlled area, but we have, last month we did find a stray kitten, somehow worked its way onto the airport, and the firefighter found it up underneath the ARF truck crying. So we rescued the kitten, and we called Animal Services to come, and from what I understand, it's been adopted.
For Daytona Beach International Airport, I'm Joanne Magley.
The Cassadaga Spiritualist Camp is 58 acres, residing within the town of Cassadaga. We are a community of spiritualists, and spiritualism is the science, philosophy, and religion based on the continuity of life, that life continues on after the change called death. After the Civil War, there was a big boom to spiritualist followers, people like Abraham Lincoln, Mary Todd Lincoln, Ulysses S. Grant. We did have one spiritualist by the name of George Colby. He would do seances and he would bring through his guides. He had one specific guide, a Native American guide named Seneca, who came to him and told him he was to go south to Florida and form a winter home for the Northern Spiritualists. We are a religious organization. We offer church services. We do have our bookstore and welcome center, which is a great place to start when visiting Cassadaga. We do also offer a historical tour, which is a really good, well-rounded general information for those looking for more information on spiritual.
Do you know what all goes into the annual budget? Well, we thought this would be a good time to take a look at the county's budget. Now, we all know that budgets, well, to be honest, they can be a little boring. Fortunately, Community Information's David Hunt and Gary Davidson have come up with a fun and unique way to explain the budget. It's something we call Dave and Gary's Excellent Budget Adventure. So sit back, watch, and prepare to laugh and learn.
Hey Dave, how's it going?
Oh, hey Gary, I'm doing good. Just working on this list of questions I got from a resident regarding the budget and taxes for this year. I've been watching the County of Volusia YouTube page, watching the council meetings, just trying to gather all the information I can.
You know, this is the fiscal year 2021-22 budget book. It's probably a good place for you to start. Why don't you take a look and see what you can find?
Wow. Thanks, Gary.
Hey, sure thing. And remember, budgets, numbers, you know, they can be a little dry, a little boring, so try to have some fun with it.
Will do. Have a good night.
All right, you too, Dave.
Thanks, Gary. All the services the county provides, $349 million general fund budget, inflationary costs, $961 million operating budget, property tax rates for the past 10 years, $964 for 60 million, population increases, county staffing levels have been going down. Gary said have fun.
Okay, Dave, let's get started. So in its simplest terms, a budget is a financial plan based on revenue and expenses, and a budget also establishes spending priorities for programs and services for the public. Property taxes, well, they account for approximately 1/3 of the county's total operating revenue. The remainder comes from a variety of sources, such as licenses and permits, fees, special assessments, fines, charges for services, and appropriated fund balance. For this budget year, County Council set the general fund tax rate at 5.3812 mils. That's a reduction from last year's rate of 5.45 mils. And this also marks the 4th year in a row and the 5th time in the past 6 years that the general fund tax rate has gone down. The budget approval process involves a significant investment of time by the County Council and county staff. There are a series of meetings, workshops, public hearings for citizen input, and council discussion. Ultimately, the County Council votes to approve the budget. In fact, it's one of the most important things that they do. Now, this year's general fund, it's $349.1 billion. But we're not buying sharks with laser beams on their head. The general fund goes for those core county-wide services. Council and staff, they've made public safety for our residents their very top priority. And that's why there's also money in this year's budget for several new positions. Putting together a budget is a little like, no, it's actually a lot like the guy at the circus spinning all those plates on sticks and trying to make sure that none of them fall and crash. The trick is to ensure that there's enough revenue to keep all of those services going efficiently and effectively. Things like road maintenance, environmental protection, stormwater drainage, law enforcement, fire rescue, veteran services, ambulance service, community assistance, libraries, parks. Our residents, they really rely on these services. As with any budget, over time costs tend to go up. Assessing community needs and establishing service levels, well, that's largely a function of the population growth. Based on census figures, Volusia County's population increased by 110,000 in just the last 20 years.
So when we talk about the county's budget, it seems like the biggest focus is on the general fund. Why is that?
Now, it's because the general fund finances the services that the county provides to everyone in Volusia County, regardless of whether you live inside or outside of a city. And the general fund is supported by a county-wide property tax, which means it affects all taxpayers in the county. It's one of the 9 tax funds that the county operates, but it's the one that gets the most attention.
Thanks, Gary. This has been some really useful information. I'm glad I came to you for help.
Excellent.
Oh, hey, Gary.
Dave, what's going on? Did you get any sleep last night?
No, not really.
Well, you know, that's understandable. It really takes about a year to put together the budget book and all the data involved.
At this moment, Dave understood the budget, but never wanted to see Gary in his dreams again.
Run.
You guys have a meeting here?
Yeah, we have one at 3:30.
Oh, I gotta get out of here. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I'm filming for a budget thing, so I'm just trying to make it look like a crazy budget. I'll hop out. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I was hoping there was no meetings today. I was like, oh man, this will look crazy if somebody walks in.
Hey Dave, how's it going?
Oh, hey Gary, how's it going? It's going good. Let's do it again. One more time. We got it this time.
Are you ready for a taste of old Florida charm? We traveled to Oak Hill for a day on the water that includes a couple of special guests. David Hunt leads the tour.
Mosquito Lagoon is a region unique among the inland waters of the Atlantic coast, not only for its wildlife and history, but also for the feeling of relative isolation that is attainable just a short distance from shore.
We're here today at River Breeze Park in Oak Hill. Open 24 hours, River Breeze Park's 37 acres of untouched landscape offers visitors a panoramic view into Old Florida. With 5 acres along the Indian River, guests can fish, birdwatch, and enjoy a scenic picnic. River Breeze has campgrounds, hiking trails, a pier, and 2 boat ramps that give you direct access to the various paddling trails of Volusia County and Mosquito Lagoon.
River Breeze Park is a great starting point to explore all Mosquito Lagoon has to offer. On this trip, our mode of transportation was by boat, and it didn't take long before the locals greeted us.
So one of the great treats of our area is the bottlenose dolphin. We have local pods of bottlenose dolphin that stay with us year-round, and there's also offshore bottlenose dolphin that'll kind of migrate north and south during different times of the year. We are able to identify almost every single dolphin in this Indian River Lagoon just by its dorsal fin. So the dorsal fin will have different notches or nicks on it throughout its life, and we use those to identify it just like the fingerprints of a human. So when you're out here with these dolphins, just try not to chase them, harass them in any way. We really want to try to keep it as natural as possible for them out here, so you just kind of enjoy the show that they'll provide.
Weirdly enough, the dolphins seem to be leading us to a large yellow house on a hill. So we motored over.
We've made it to Seminole Rest Historic Site located inside Canaveral National Seashore. This site has a deep history from its earliest inhabitants, the Tomoqua Indians, to early pioneers settling in this area in the late 1800s to the historic site that it is today. The main house and caretaker's cottage sit atop a Tomoqua Indian shell mound named Snyder's Mound after the family that made efforts to preserve this area. The Snyder family's efforts managed to preserve this mound so that later in the 1990s, archaeologists could excavate a portion of this site. Inside, they found several artifacts, animal and plant remains, pottery shards, and even shell bead necklaces.
We loaded back into the boat and we were off again. This time, a group of brown pelicans caught our eye, and on the horizon, what looked to be a hill was jutting out of the mangroves. We went to investigate and followed a pathway to the top.
The people that occupied this area were known as the Tomoquan Indians. In the 2,000 years that they lived here, they did very little to alter the natural landscape. However, they left behind burial and shell mounds, which are key to us understanding their history. Today, we are visiting one of those historic mounds, Turtle Mound. It is the largest mound in the continental U.S. It sits on 2 acres and is covered with 35,000 cubic yards of oyster shell. It stretches 600 feet along the Indian River and is 50 feet high. Park visitors can climb to the top of Turtle Mound using the educational boardwalk and enjoy the interpretive panels along the way. From the top, you have a panoramic view of the Atlantic Ocean, Merritt Island, Indian River, and Mosquito Lagoon. This national treasure is located right here in Volusia County.
We departed Turtle Mound with our imaginations running wild. But Trey had one more stop.
Mary McLeod Bethune Park has multiple parking areas. You can park on the beach. There's also a little spot right here on the lagoon that has a kayak launch. And in this area, there's a lot of manatees that'll come and kind of rest. So if you do happen to come in this area, just be really cautious of manatees that are popping up and around. And they're just coming to this area to rest. So we really try not to bother them too much.
As we left Mary McLeod Bethune Park, we had food and shade on our mind. It wasn't long before the faint sound of music and delicious smell of fresh seafood filled the air.
Well, that ends our adventure for today. We're going to stop and have a little lunch.
I'm Trey.
I'm Lisa.
And I'm Tracy, and we're with Volusia Magazine.
We just scratched the surface on all Mosquito Lagoon has to offer. So get out and explore Volusia County, because you never know what you might find.
Stay connected with the latest Volusia County news, events, and updates on our social media channels. Like and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Catch up with previous stories on YouTube, or just head over to our website, volusia.org.
Well, that wraps up Volusia Magazine. Thank you for spending part of your days with us. If you have any questions about the show, feel free to give us a call at any of the numbers you see listed here. Or you can log on to volusia.org and click on the news tab at the top of the screen to find us. And we hope you won't forget to listen to Volusia Today. That's Volusia County Government's weekly public radio program. A new radio show airs every Friday with rebroadcast Sunday and Monday mornings on the local radio stations you see here on your screen. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Tammy King. And remember, have a fabulous day on purpose.